Are you tired of trying every diet out there to get the results that you want? Hi, I'm Cora Naylor, certified coactive coach and emotion code practitioner. Many of us empty nesters have tried all kinds of diets and different ways to eat, but wouldn't it be great if we could stick to one thing and be done? So today I've invited Dawn McGee to join us. Dawn is a nutrition evangelist for women who are sick of drinking the diet Kool-Aid and are ready for sustainable results. She's the creator of the Eat, Move, and Recharge system that teaches women how to easily incorporate healthy habits into their daily routines so they can stop thinking about food as their full-time job and reclaim their life one bite at a time. So welcome, Dawn.
Thanks, Cora. Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, eating is such a massive thing, and I think people are even more taking a better look at it because of the times we're all home a little bit more and taking more stock of what we've been doing. Maybe at the beginning, eating some stuff we shouldn't be eating, and now that we know it's kind of the long haul, it's okay, what are we doing now?
Absolutely. I will tell you at the beginning, my bread machine was on overdrive. We were trying all different, flavors and fun stuff, and we were baking cookies, and then we settled into, all right, well, let's plan our meals and let's figure out what we like and what we're going to do. So I wholeheartedly agree. It's been an interesting time.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell us a little bit of your background, how you got into this nutrition field.
Absolutely. I have always been a foodie. I love food. I love to travel. I like to tell people that I like to travel by stomach because one of my favorite things to do is to get to know a culture by their foods and try all the local cuisines, the food and the wine, do some walking tours. And, over time, when I was a kid, I was brought up on a meat and potatoes kind of diet. That's what my dad liked. And so I never really learned how to feed my body and feed myself. And throughout the years, I was always kind of a chunky kid. And, over time, that really caught up with me and the lack of knowledge. So I sought to turn that around and figure out how I could feed myself and still enjoy my food because like you said, nobody likes to feel like they're on a diet. I've tried them all, right? I came home from college with a couple of extra pounds, and my mom said, "Oh, here, this is what we're going to do." The Weight Watchers, the stewardess diet, the leak diet. I can't even. And finally, you come to a point where you understand how to feed your body, and those are some of the breadcrumbs that have led me here. And of course, it's not just food that's important. It's also how you move and how you take care of yourself. And that's why I talk about eat, move, and recharge as the three crucial components. I call it the triangle of health.
Yeah, and I so agree. And especially when you get into the empty nester phase, because we're already going through a lot of changes with kids moving out, going through hormonal changes, our bodies are changing. Yeah. Often it's harder now to even lose weight because our body is changing with menopause and all that kind of stuff. And we may have more stress from looking after parents. So there's a lot of things all going around in that age group. So do you have some advice that's specifically maybe for that age group?
Oh, for sure. The hormones can be insidious. The stress can be even more insidious. That's a key part of the recharge piece. If your stress is over the top and you're never going to make your health goals happen because just by virtue of the fact that you're stressed, you're producing extra hormones called cortisol, which has a negative impact on your body and its ability to make any positive changes. So a couple of real quick tips for dealing with both the hormones and the stress. One thing is to make sure that you're eating small, frequent, balanced meals. We call that PFC every 3, or protein, fat, and carbs every 3 to 4 hours. So you have meals with protein, fat, and carbs, and what that does is it keeps your blood sugar balanced so that you're not munchy in between and you're not grabbing whatever. And you'd be amazed what that does for your brain. And what we think of as willpower, you don't need willpower as much when your body is being fed properly. And what that does in turn is it helps keep your hormones balanced. Now, I am not going to promise that that gets rid of all the hot flashes and everything, but it absolutely helps. I know personally that when I keep my blood sugar balanced, I have a lot less hot flashes and I feel much better. Um, and then as far as stress goes, my best recommendation, and this is, people are going to roll their eyes at me and tell me it's silly, is to take 2 minutes every day and just breathe. You'd be amazed what you can accomplish if you can just take a deep breath for 2 minutes. There are some great online meditation apps. There are all sorts of different things you can do. If you don't like sitting still, walk, do something moving, do Tai Chi. Um, but absolutely take time to just step away from everything else and let yourself relax and calm down a little bit. Getting rid of that stress will make a big difference.
Yeah, I like even just going for a walk around the block or wherever in your neighborhood and really savoring your neighborhood, not just mindlessly walking, but really being grateful for where you live and what's around you.
Yes.
Another,
Yeah, for sure. That has been so key for us during this whole period, is to get outside every day, no matter what's going on.
yeah, because it is a roller coaster ride right now of everything
Mhm.
up and down and opening and yeah, knowing where to go and what to do. So that's good
It's
advice.
cool.
Cool. So, what's a good place to start then? If people want to get started to get a little healthier and they're not sure how to do this, protein, carbs, fat meal planning, or maybe they just want to hit the restart because they've been off track during the last few months and they're ready to get healthier again. What are some tips to get us started?
Absolutely. So there are a couple of things that I'll recommend to get started. One is I've got this great nutrition guide to 7 lies. And I think that part of the thing that happens when people want to get started is they don't know where to start. There's so much misinformation out there. And so this will help you cut through what I call the fake news of nutrition and debunk some of those common myths that won't work. And once you get those out of the way, then it replaces them with how you can get started and what to do next. So that's a great place to start. I'd also invite people to come join my free group, which is called Never Diet Again. And what we do in there is constant support and accountability, because that's key. And people are welcome to post questions depending on where they are. Everybody starts off in a different place. We meet you wherever you are. It's a no judgment zone. And that, I think, is really important for people who are either hitting the reset button or maybe starting for the first time and they don't know where to start. It's easy to be intimidated with all the choices. So we are absolutely a non-judgment zone. Come join us there. Those are two great places to start.
Great. And so I'm sure there you'll be able to advise people, how much protein, how much carbs, how much fat, like what's the balance that they're looking for.
Absolutely. I've got some great documents that they can download from the group. And those are also things that I cover in my program, which is Reclaim Your Life One Bite at a Time. Again, it's all about taking simple, small steps to get where you want to go. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah. And do you have any advice for people that maybe don't eat meat, that are, more plant-based? Because that seems to be really common these days too. And there's a lot of uneducation out there about whether you're going to get enough protein or get not, how that works.
For sure. And of course, that's an individual choice. If you're choosing a plant-based lifestyle, I think the real key is to make sure that you understand what food you're putting into your body and where you're getting your protein from. There are lots of great plant-based protein sources, and you need to know which ones are going to suit you the best. For example, quinoa is a complete protein. It's an ancient grain. It's wonderful for a plant-based lifestyle. Unfortunately, what some people do is they eliminate the meat without replacing it with a good, clean protein source. And so for a lot of people, that means lots of extra pasta and lots of extra cheese. And that is not going to add up to success. So I think that the biggest key, if you're looking for a plant-based lifestyle, is to know what you're putting into your body.
And I think that's with any kind of eating. I mean, I think at the beginning is just try and stay away from processed foods if that's, in your wheelhouse, and try and eat as much real food, right? Or either
Yep.
no stuff with no ingredients on it or ingredients that you actually know what are in there.
Right. It's always fun to see the look on someone's face when I ask them what the ingredients are in an apple. And they stop and they think for a minute. They go, "Oh, well, it's an apple." Or sometimes they'll say, "Well, there's no label on it." Well, it's just an apple. It doesn't need a label. And you are absolutely right. The best thing that we can do for our bodies is feed it whole foods, which does not mean that I am opposed to supplements or shakes, but you have to be very considerate about the quality of the supplements and shakes that you're putting into your body.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many different ones out there. So yeah, do some homework on that. Because they're great, especially shakes for fillers. I mean, I love the one that I do. I've been drinking it for years and I never get tired of it. And
Right.
it does the job.
Right, which is fabulous. And to go back to your question about hormones, one of the big things that people try to avoid is soy protein because it has phytoestrogen in it. Now, on the other hand, at this time of our lives, we may do better with a little bit of extra soy in our lives. One of the things that I do is I keep edamame in the house. And so that little extra soy, now this is a clean soy, the edamame, will help balance your hormones and help with some of the hot flashes too. Of course, everyone's individual, so something that works for me may or may not work for you, but it's one of the tips that I use.
Oh, cool. So I think that's something that we have to look at individually and try out to know. So is that edamame like the beans, or is it something different?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you would get in a Japanese restaurant, without the pound of salt put on it. Sprinkle salt on.
That's the good part.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, well, let's use it sparingly.
Yeah, I know. And I know some people will probably, if you're not used to eating healthy, you might not realize that actually food tastes pretty good without too much stuff on it. You can do a lot with herbs and different flavorings like that. And I know you're always doing creative things with your food. You post a lot of pictures online of what you're eating. So don't be afraid to try different things. And not everything's going to be your favorite.
Oh, that's so true. And adding different flavors and herbs and styles is one of my favorite things to try. I've traveled all around the world, and I love to bring back some of the international flair into how I make my meals. Because if we're bored, we're much more likely to just reach for something comforting, which for most of us is inevitably a high carb, high fat kind of not so good for you food. So if you keep your food interesting with lots of variety, lots of different herbs and spices and flavors, then you're never going to get bored and you're never going to want to fall off plan.
Right. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to join us today, Dawn. And as people are watching, they will see my website and your website running along the bottom. So it's dawnmcgee.guru. I love that. And so again, if they want to reach out, you have a freebie on your website that they can request.
I do. Absolutely. Grab that 7 Nutrition Lies guide. And if you have questions, there's a button there where you can contact me, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. So yeah, if you have any questions, reach out to Dawn. She is a wealth of information, and connect with her on Facebook because you can check out her pictures. And if you're an empty nester and you're not part of my empty nester group, I recommend you come and join us, hang out with some other women so we can support each other while we go through this journey. And it's about health and focusing on ourselves and what's next. So comment below with the yes, and we'll get you added into our group. Thanks so much, Dawn, and we'll see you soon, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good one.